Communication communication refers communicare. It refers communicare which means to share. So communication refers communicare in Greek language, which means to share. Basically, communication is the process of transferring information from sender to receiver or from one point to another point. Okay. So there are some parts of communication system which we have to study. Parts of communication basically consist of sender, channel, receiver. There are three parts of a communication system: sender, channel, receiver. So sender is also called transmitter. It is also called as a person which speak some voice signal, some message signal, and this signal is transferred to the receiving side or the receiving antenna or the receiver, which can be a person or the receiving system. The channel where the signal transfer from sender to receiver is known as the channel, which is a path which is the bridge between the sender and the receiver. It is also called a transmitter, and it is also called the receiver or receiving system. Okay, so the signal, we are just indicating the signal in this communication system. So first we should know what is signal. Signal is basically a mathematical representation of time. Signal, it is basically a mathematical representation of time t. Time t is the variable which can be changed according with the message. So the signal is basically a mathematical representation of time t. So next point of this topic is types of signal. Types of signals. There are various types of signals which we used in the communication system. For example, there are two main type of signal. First is analog signal. Second is digital signal. Also, analog signal is also divided into two parts, that is periodic signal and aperiodic signal. Periodic signal and aperiodic signal. So digital signal is also divided into two parts, that is periodic and non-periodic. Periodic and non-periodic or aperiodic. So this is the hierarchy of signals, types of signals. There are two types of signals: analog signals and digital signals. Analog signal also have periodic signal, aperiodic signal, that is also called non-periodic signal. Digital signal is also divided into two parts: periodic signal and aperiodic signal. So first we consider analog signal. First we consider analog signal, where we have to draw waveform which is used to analyze the signal. Analog signal, it is a continuous time varying signal. It is a continuous time varying signal. Analog signal is the continuous time varying signal. For example, the voice signal is the continuous time varying signal, the sound signal is the continuous time varying signal, and the other continuous signal is also known as analog signals. That is, for example, if we take example, voltage, amplitude or frequency vary with time. In analog signal, the voltage, amplitude and frequency is varied with time. Okay, so the waveform of this analog signal are, yes, are you getting? Okay, the waveform of this voltage signal is drawn like voltage, this is time axis and this is voltage axis. This is the sinusoidal wave which we are drawing. This is the sinusoidal wave which we are drawing. This is called sine wave because it is a odd signal. It is a odd type of signal. So it is a cosine wave, but it is called sinusoidal signal. Cosine waves and sine waves are called sinusoidal signal because they have the frequency, constant frequency in their origin. After that, we will consider digital signal. Digital signal basically consider in the form of 0 and 1. So digital signal it represent the data in the form of discrete value. So in digital signal it represents the data in the form of discrete value. So it takes only two value. It takes only two values, either 1 or 0. So digital signals represent data in the form of discrete value. It takes only two value, either 1 or 0. So if we take a string of bits 0 1 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, it is a 8-bit string, 8-bit string, and every digit is called bit, and every 8-bit string is called a byte. It is called 1 byte data. The waveform of this 1 byte data is like this. The waveform of this 1 byte data or the signal, digital signal is like this. That is 0 1. That is, this is 1, this is 0. This is 1 and this is 0. So this is the digital signal. Now we take the types of signals. We have learned about the types of signal, that is analog signal have periodic and aperiodic signal, and also we have learned about digital signals have two types of signal, that is periodic and aperiodic signal. Now first we will consider only analog signal. So analog signal is of two types, periodic and aperiodic. So first we will consider only periodic signal. Periodic signal, a signal that repeat over a period of time is called periodic signal. A signal that repeat over a period of time is known as periodic signal. Okay, are you getting? Any doubt? Okay. So the waveform of this periodic signal is like this. This is time axis and this is voltage and this is the sinusoidal wave. This is, as you see this waveform, you can check this is the cosine wave, which is even function of time. Okay. Now we will draw aperiodic signal in the analog signal. So we will get another signal aperiodic. A signal which does not repeat every time of cycle, every time of minutes or seconds is known as operating signal. So, diagram of the form of this signal is like this. This is time axis. This is the value which we have. This is like a operating signal because it does not repeat its cycle at a regular interval of time. Okay, so this is called operating signal. Next, we will consider types of digital signals. Types of digital signals. So, we have learnt about digital signals. Now, we will study types of digital signal. It is of two types, as we have mentioned earlier. First is periodic, and second type is aperiodic signal. Okay. So, under the periodic signal, under this, it repeats. So, signal repeats over a period of time is known as periodic signal. Under the head of periodic signal, it is a signal which repeat over a period of time. एक पर्टिकुलर पीरियड के बाद ये दोबारा रिपीट कर जाए, then it is called periodic signal. Now we will take another aperiodic signal. The waveform of periodic signal is like this. This is time axis and this is the value 0 and 1. So this waveform is repeat after some time. This is repeat after some time, and the time period of this is called TS or TP, periodic time. Okay, so now we will consider aperiodic signal. So it does not repeat. So it does not repeat. It does not repeat over a period of time. Over a period of time. So it is called aperiodic signals. So it is called aperiodic signals. So the waveform, we can take a waveform of this aperiodic signal is like this. This is called value, and this is time axis. This is called aperiodic signal because the same slot is not repeating after a certain period. So it is called aperiodic signal, digital signals. Okay. So now we will study analog communication system. Analog communication system consists of various blocks, which is very important in the field of communication system, which is based on basically a signal. So, analog communication system Our topic is analog communication system. So first we should draw the block diagram of this. After that we will explain. Okay, the block diagrams are many blocks. So first diagram is, first is the input, and first block is input transducer, second block is transmitter, the third is channel, and this is given as the noise and distortion. The fourth block is receiver, and fifth last is output transducer, and this is the output. This is the block diagram of analog communication system. Are you getting my point? Any doubt? No. Okay. So this is the input given in the input transducer. The function of input transducer is it convert the one form of energy into the another form. The function of transducer is it convert or it change the one form of energy into the other. And if we have a voice signal, first we will put here, and this transducer convert my voice signal into the electrical signal, and this electrical signal is going to the transmitter. In the transmission section we have the modulation process. After some time we will discuss about this. We have the modulation process. Transmitter transmit, it also have a transmitting antenna which send their signal to the channel. Channel can be of wired type, it can be of wireless type. Okay. In the channel, mostly noise and distortions are introduced here, because if it is wired channel, it is less effective with the noise and distortion. If it is wireless, it can be more effective with the noise and distortion. After this channel, the signal is received by the receiver, which also have a demodulation process. At this process we will illustrate after some time. This receiver receive the signal, filter the signal, eliminate the echoes, eliminate the carrier frequency, and receive only the message signal or baseband signal, and send the signal to the output transducer, because signal at present is in the form of electrical form. After this, passing this signal to this output transducer, this transducer convert the electrical signal into the original form of signal, which I have said that I have a voice call put here, and this convert my voice call into electrical signal, and this process going on, and this electrical signal is here, and it convert my voice call to the other side, to the other person. Okay, any doubt? So this is the process. of analog communication system. It has very complex process, but in block diagram it looks like a simple, but it is the introduction. Okay, this is the process. After that, so the frequency, first some points we should note that the frequency range of speech signal is from 300 Hz to 3000 Hz, and the frequency of video signal is 4.2 megahertz, and the frequency range of TV, that is television, is 0 Hz to 6000 kilohertz. So this is the main frequency range of the signal. Frequency range of speech signal is from 300 Hz to 3 kilohertz or 3000 Hz. The frequency of video signal is 4.2 megahertz. Mega means 10 to the power 6. The frequency range of TV is 0 Hz to 6000 kilohertz. So you should remember these types of parameter. So when we discuss about the analog communication system, the main important feature of this is the channel, because without channel and without effective channel, no signal can receive exactly, accurately at the receiver side. So channel is the most important part in the communication system. So we have two types of channel. First is wired channel. Wired channel. Second is wireless channel. So there are two types of channel. First is wired channel and second is wireless channel. So in wired channel we have number one, twisted pair cable, which we are using in the dish TV, twisted pair cable. Number two, waveguides. Okay. Number three is optical fiber. Optical fiber. So these three types are commonly known as the wired channel. Optical fibers are using nowadays very rapidly increasing as their property is best in all the wires. So in wireless channel we have using the electromagnetic waves, EM waves, that is called radio waves, or it is called, so in wireless channel we have the electromagnetic waves, which is called radio waves. So what is electromagnetic waves? It is the energy propagated through the free space at the velocity of light. What is the velocity of light? The velocity of light is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. or 3 into 10 h power 10 centimeter per second. It has two components. EM wave has two components. First is electric field component, second is magnetic field component. Electric field component and magnetic field component are both perpendicular to each other, and this wave is transverse in nature. That is, it propagates in a direction which is perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So the next point is advantages of analog communication. Next point is the advantages of analog communication. So there are various advantages of communication system which we have. Advantages of analog communication system. First, it uses less bandwidth as compared to digital signal. What is bandwidth? Bandwidth is the frequency range where a signal starts from some frequency to some another frequency which vary from some frequency to another frequency. That is called bandwidth. If we can take a example of this bandwidth, if this frequency, this is called the frequency exchange, and this is called 0, 2 kilohertz, 6 kilohertz. In this waveform, the bandwidth is this. This is the band width. This is the width of the band. So it is called bandwidth. So bandwidth is 6 minus 2 kilohertz, that is 4 kilohertz. It starts from 2 kilohertz and going till the 6 kilohertz, it has the peak of from 2 kilohertz to 6 kilohertz. After that, the signal is 0. So this is called 6 minus 2, that is 4 kilohertz, is called the bandwidth. Compared to digital signal. Okay, second point is it provides more accurate method of representation. It provides more accurate method of representation. Third point is audio signals are preferred for audio and video transmission. Audio signals are preferred from audio and video transmission because these signals can be easily modulated and demodulated using AM and demodulation. Now, Next point is point number 4. Point number 4. Okay. It is easy to process as compared to the digital signal. Analog signals are easy to process as compared to the digital signals. This is the fourth advantage. Now the fifth advantage is it offers a finite amount of signal resolution. So the fifth advantage is it offers a finite amount of signal resolution. So these are the advantages of analog communication over the digital ones. So after that we are going to study about the signal which is called message signal or baseband signal, types of signals which is very important in the field of communication system. So message signal, baseband signal, modulated signal, modulated signal, so what is the difference between these signals? Message signals is the basic signal which we have to send for the modulation purpose. The baseband signal start from the 0 hertz of frequency to some extent of frequency. And the modulated signal, it can be either a message signal or it can be a baseband signal. The modulated signal is not started from the 0. It has some bandwidth because it is a modulated signal. It received after the process of modulation. Now we will consider the process of modulation. Modulation. So the modulation is the process in which the characteristics of the carrier, that is amplitude, frequency and phase, is varied according with the instantaneous value of the amplitude of the modulated signal. In the other way, we can say that modulation is the process in which a low frequency signal is overlapped over the high frequency signal. So in this case, we have two signal. We have considered two signal: low frequency signal, low frequency signals, and high frequency signals. So, which type of signal having low frequency signal? So, this is baseband signal or message signal. And the high frequency signals are the carrier signal which have very high frequency. Carrier signals are having very high frequency, very high frequency, and the message signal have low or very low frequency. So the definition of modulation is the process of superimposing of a low frequency signal over a high frequency signal is known as modulation. It is a basic understanding definition. If we consider a standard definition, this is a modulation is the process in which the characteristics, that is amplitude, frequency and phase of the carrier is varied according with the instantaneous value of the amplitude of the message signal. So if we have vary the amplitude, it is amplitude modulation, while kept constant the frequency and phase, which is the other two component. We have talked about only amplitude, frequency and phase. In case if we are varying the frequency while keeping the amplitude and phase constant, this is called frequency modulation. If we are changing or varying the phase while keeping the amplitude and frequency constant, then this is known as phase modulation. So these types of modulation in described form we will consider after next period or day after tomorrow. Okay, thank you for watching. Jai Hind.